there, thank you for joining me on FernCrafts. I'm Christine and I welcome you to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video on how to prepare catasetums as they go into dormancy. But before that, I just want to show you the very first bloom on my spike of Morphage Howard's Dream, and I love this orchid. It is so beautiful. I only have the one spike, and I will definitely show you once all of the orchids, all of the blooms are open. But let's go on to our video now. Okay, so to start off with, I have to say, please excuse the mess on the desk this morning. It's just, that's what happens when these catasetums start going into dormancy. There are falling leaves and just, it's going to be a messy one. Let's just say that. So here is my Monera Millennium Magic with the two spikes. I showed the orchid to you. Lovely spikes, and you know what? Now it has gone into dormancy. The last two leaves are yellow and it's just about to fall off. But because I wait for these blooms all year, I'm not in a hurry to cut them off. I know they don't look the best right now. They're starting to shrivel up, but I'm going to hang on to this one for just a little while longer until the leaves fall off and there's more shriveling in the spikes. At which point what I will do is cut back the spikes and do the same routine. This does need a change, a repot. When it starts to come back out of dormancy, and so I will be doing the same routine with this orchid once it's done, but not yet. And the fan just kicked in. I hope the noise isn't too loud. Let's see. So let me put this aside and we'll go on. Okay, so here are most of my catasetums. I have 7 of them left, I think, and here are 5 and 1 6 here. There's a tiny one that's missing. Oh, because yes, that's a different story, so we'll leave that one out. And so you can see they're all in different stages. This one still has the green leaves on it, so, and it's got plump pseudobulbs. Just to tell you very quickly what they are: Cloecia Eunice Bragg. So that one I am just going to leave aside as well and not do anything with at the moment. This one here, the Catasetum BC Fernandez, it is started to go into dormancy, but the leaves are still not falling off. Like, they're still on there. Oh, that one fell off. But it's going to hang on for just a bit too. Maybe next week. This one, everything's fallen off. So, and it is Fled Cloquiera Julio David Rios. And this one is one I have not seen in bloom yet, but I'm thinking it's very close to blooming size. So yes, I'm going to do the same with this as well for storing in the winter. Here is my Cloesetum Pierre Corée, and this one is, you can see it's still not completely yellow, right? I'm going to hold on to this, but when it does dry, when it does go into dormancy, I will just do the same with this. And there's this one pseudobulb on there. I think it's already detached, so we'll see. Maybe a video at some point on that. Here is my newest acquisition, which I wasn't able to show you in bloom. I may have put a picture in at some point, but it was a beautiful orchid. And it is, I don't have a label, I mean, I don't have a tag for it, but it is Catasetum Susan Fuchs, and I know she's done blooming for the season, so I can easily take it out and repot. But because it's a fairly big sized pot for the two pseudobulbs, I'm going to leave this one for the season. Okay, so that brings me to this orchid here, which I am going to show you what to do with. It is my Catasetum Lavena, and okay, very quickly, let me show you the other orchid that I put away. It is Catasetum Grace Dunn Chadsford, and the reason I didn't have it with the rest of these orchids is because it's still growing. It's still growing and still green, and I know this orchid spikes early spring, maybe even around February. I've done videos twice already, and so I only would repot the orchid after it spiked because I know the spike routine. So that's the only reason. You can see that some of it is starting to go into dormancy, but not completely. And even if she does, I'm just going to leave her in the pot because it's a lot easier for me to deal with the spike at that point. So I'm putting that aside. Okay, so coming back to Catasetum Lavena here, this is what happens. So when all the leaves come off, which I will get rid of, and it's just an orchid and it's top heavy at this point, this one is, I take it out of the pot. Don't want to lose my label. Oh, seems to have a ancient label in there. Anyway, the pot's garbage. Don't lose your label, that's very important. And then what you're going to do is get rid of the sphagnum moss to store it bare root, almost like tulip bulbs or my gladiola bulbs that I recently did the same with. So basically get rid of the sphagnum moss because that just, you know, allows for things to start growing if there's any moisture in the air, and we don't want that. So I have here a container, so I'm going to put in some water, and I like to use some hot water, but it doesn't have to be, and I'm going to let it sit in that water for a bit. Okay, and that is just to soften the moss. You want to do this once your moss is completely dried, so all the roots are dead and the moss is completely dried. It's very crunchy, and you want to make sure that the orchid has died back completely, which it has. So I'm going to let it sit here for a few minutes, and in the meantime, grab yourself some scissors, which you can spray down with hydrogen peroxide. I have a 3% solution here, and I'm also going to be spraying the orchid after we're done, just before we store it. To attach your label, I use these little elastics that my daughter has a ton of, and I'm sure she wouldn't mind me taking a few of them. And you just need one per orchid, and you should be fine. Okay, so let me let that soak for a bit and I'll come back. Okay, so now it's been soaking for about 5 minutes, not too long. It's just enough to wet the sphagnum moss. And now what I'm going to do is just peel out all of the, don't need that water anymore. I'm going to peel out all of the sphagnum moss, and you don't have to be too gentle about it because, well, the roots are all dead. But if you take out as much as you can, and then that'll really help. So let me do this using both my hands so it goes a little quicker, and I'll be back. Okay, so I did warn you that it's going to be messy. Here it is. I didn't have to be so thorough and take out all of the sphagnum moss, or even as much as I did, but it was just a lot of fun taking it out, and I went a little out to town with it. So my scissors, they are sprayed. I let them air dry, and basically what you're going to do is just give it a haircut. So cut it down, and you don't want to go too close in case some of your pseudobulbs separate. I just prefer to have it all as one. It's a lot easier for labeling purposes and everything. And so I'm just going to work my way around and cut it. First roughly, just to get an idea of what you're left with. You don't have to be careful because there's nothing growing. The only thing you have to watch for is that you don't end up nicking the pseudobulbs. You don't want to damage them. So just go all the way around. And okay, this is difficult, guys. Let me come back to you, okay? Okay, so that's what I'm left with. I've gone all the way around. And just to show you that some of the roots look like they are alive. But if you feel them, before you cut them, if you feel them, they are spongy. So then you know that they are dead. They could still be white, and they probably were because they were above the sphagnum moss. But yeah, they're all pretty dead. So I have cut it, given it a good trim all the way around, and now what I'm going to do is peel off any of the dead skin, just to prevent any moisture from being trapped. If it's loose, okay, don't peel back like the skin that's on there. It helps protect it too. And then what I'm going to do is just give it a good spray of hydrogen peroxide, especially around the area that I have cut, and let that air dry for a bit, and then we're going to attach the label. I'll be back. Okay, so once your orchid is dry, mine isn't totally, but I'm a little eager to get this done. So just put your label on to one of the pseudobulbs, and simply using the elastics that you have, you could also use the Velcro tape and basically put it around your orchid. And make sure it's snug and you're not going to lose it. Double it up if you need to, but don't do it too tight where you're damaging the pseudobulb. I would do it on one of the older pseudobulbs just to be safe, because off of the newest one is where the growths would start. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And for those of you who haven't done so already, do subscribe. You'll be the first to know when I upload a video. You can also come check us out on our Facebook group. It's called FernCrafts, Love of Orchids. And come and join and share your orchid adventures with us. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, enjoy your orchids. Bye-bye.